Hey, everybody, this is Chad Johnson. Welcome back to Everyday Practices with my co-host, Regan Robertson. How you doing, Regan?
Exceptional day, Chad. How are you?
I'm doing fine. We're through our cold snap here in the Midwest of the overnight lows of -30. To someone who might not even know what that feels like, Dr. Tessa Miller in San Diego, always 70 degrees.
That's right.
Through the quote winter.
It'll be a little chilly in the morning sometimes, like in the 40s, or it's warming back up again. So I think this is nice. We're very lucky, very blessed.
Well, temperature aside, what's been warming up is your marketing.
Hey, yes.
Oh my gosh, Chad.
Did you hear that? Yeah. Hey, Regan, you told me just a minute ago,
Yes.
but what episode, just for people to reference, we've had Dr. Miller on before.
Yes.
And what was she?
Yes.
Episode
She was on episode 106.
Okay, so for those who want to
Episode
reference it, and whatnot, episode 106, you can check out that. But Tessa, tell us about the last few months. You were telling us before we hit record that since August you started investigating into marketing. So tell us, what brought that about.
Yeah, so we started doing our marketing with PDA around August, and I thought it would be really cool to go with PDA because they work, hand in hand since I'm doing the PDA coaching and
Good for you.
Having that continuity to do the marketing with them as well. And they just totally redid like my website. We've been doing some SEO marketing online, and we've just been getting a ton of new patients since then. I think before we were averaging maybe like 30-ish, but now our average is doubled that. And I'm busier than I ever imagined that we would ever be. So we're growing.
Here's a question
lot.
that's off script. I had a question just regarding that impromptu pop up in my mind. Was it exactly, what was it just double the amount of patients, or what is it also getting the kinds of patients that you're looking for?
Yeah, definitely a lot, more of the patients that we are looking for. Some things that I told them I wanted to focus on was getting some more families within the practice, and also some more young professionals. I like to do Invisalign, so getting some more patients, doing Invisalign. So, and also patients not so like heavily insurance focused, because we are a network with a lot of PPO insurances, and getting some more out of network patients or patients who are cash patients. So that's always a good thing.
Yeah, absolutely. So, go ahead. We're just chomping at the bit, Regan. You do it.
Well, yeah, Dr. Miller, I know you're located in the San Diego area, and that is a super tough market. It's saturated. What were some of the struggles that you were going through before you made the decision that marketing would be a good choice for you? And I imagine there's a lot of emotions wrapped up in that and making that choice.
Yeah, I've never done marketing before, so I wasn't really sure, what to expect and what kind of results I would get, like being in such a heavily saturated area. I don't even know how many dental offices are just within, 5 miles of us. So we first kind of focused on, marketing to our community, which is like the Bay Park community. But now slowly we are expanding throughout San Diego. And I've noticed we have been getting patients, driving, 10, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, to come to our office, because I think they see us online and then they look at our reviews and see that, we're just an awesome place to be. And also we're getting a lot of word of mouth referrals from our existing patients. We started doing a referral program as part of our marketing as well, and that's also been working out great.
Good.
Wow. So I remember the last time we interviewed, you were really energetic and excited about providing care to more families and to kind of changing that demographic up a little bit. So have your goals, so it sounds to me like your goals have begun to be realized in that process. Have your goals changed at all during the past 6 months, or do you feel like you're getting traction and just moving forward faster than ever before?
Yeah, I'm starting to feel like now I can kind of focus in on more of what I want to do. I do have like a couple of associates that work here. So, for certain things, I can have you know, the class twos, the class ones, the little straightforward, you know, fillings here and there, they can start doing those, and I can focus more on the bigger comprehensive cases. So that's kind of the direction that I'm, you know, trying to go now.
Good.
That's fantastic. Did you mention referral program too? Is that one of the tactics that you engaged in?
So what we did with our marketing program is they put out these really cute little flyers and their little referral. I wish I had one here, but they're little like referral invitations. And so we hand them out to our patients at the end of our visit. So we'll say like, thank you so much for being a great patient here with us. We're always, you know, looking for great patients like you. If you have any friends or family who are looking for a dentist, we would love to see them. And if they come in, then both you and them will get a special little gift. So kind of just
Good for
incentivize
you.
them a little bit to
Did you guys
make sure that they're
workshop that?
telling their friends and family that is.
Good. Did you guys workshop that over the phone or like over a Zoom call, you know, how your team should talk about that?
Yeah, so we
That
work
helps.
with the marketing team to kind of get our scripting on what to say, so it's not awkward. You know, you're not just like, here you go. 'Cause it can be a little bit awkward at first, you know, trying to promote yourself. But once you've done it a couple times, then we find most patients are kind of, you know, excited about it. They're like, oh, great, thank you.
Very cool. So I have a question. Do you feel like with Productive Dentist Academy's marketing team that you've begun to hone in and narrow your focus of what your brand means?
Yes, like I just feel like it's kind of come like, you know, more wrapped up and concise, and
Good. Cool.
you know, everything is kind of like the same. Like our website, when you go to our website, you see what our brand is, and then when you come into our office, that matches up. And then we recently got like a new sign on our building, so everything is, you know, kind of trying to stay on the same theme.
Ooh, the king of congruency. That is one of the best things about marketing to have. I mean, really, it does. It doesn't, you don't have to go get a $100,000 logo like some big corporations do, as long as you're congruent across the board. That's exciting. You mentioned, Tessa, that that you engage in our coaching services as well. And so joining marketing was kind of a natural fit for you to be congruent. So I see that congruency is important to you. Looking back at that referral program, I know in my own experience in talking with hundreds of doctors over the past few years, some of them seem to be really on board and understand the team training aspect to it. And others, they'll adopt the concept and then not really pull it through. So so could you tell listeners about that if they're thinking of doing a referral program in their own practice, because it's fairly, you know, low cost. I know each state has different, you know, rules to that and whatnot, but how did it really feel, you know, once you went through design and pulling it through? Like, did it take a couple of times? Was it easy? Were there hiccups? How did you really implement it to success?
Well, I kind of made it into a fun little game to get everybody into a routine. So I told the team, like, you know, in order to get us used to doing this as a habit, we're going to make it into a game. So I gave everybody like a stack of referral cards, and I kind of like divvied it up based on, you know, the average amount of patients they might see a week. So, you know, the hygienists, they have their own columns, so they got the most, and then, you know, the assistants, not as many, and then also the front office, they got their own stack to try to get anybody, you know, who wasn't given one in the back. So I said, okay, first person to give out their stack gets a $25 gift card. And then also, you know, make note of whoever you're giving them to in the schedule, because if somebody refers, you know, somebody in and you gave that card to that person, then you can also get a $25 gift card. So everybody got like really into it. They're all competing with each other. But one of my hygienists, she is just always on top of it. She's won the game twice now. So you know, I even gave her like a huge stack of cards, and she's just like giving them out like candy. Like she's really on top of it. But now, you know, that they have gotten used to, you know, giving them out because we made it into a fun game, it's, you know, now it's like, okay, let's take your bib off. Here's a referral card type of thing.
That's fun to see that leadership rise in those people as they own it more. You know, that D-driven disc profile person, the quintessential, you know, like alpha is going to be like, come on guys.
Yeah.
Now what's cool is like you've incentivized and she's risen to the top. Now the question is, can she help pull everyone else up too?
Yeah, I'll have to say, all right, Kelly, what's your secret? Can you share? But she might not want to give it away.
Unless you say, okay, now the next couple of weeks is if as a team you hand out this many. See,
Oh,
you've
that's a
already
good
picked her
idea.
out. Now start making her the leader of the troop and say, okay, you know, how can I help you make sure that we hit our team goal this week? Because if you do, boom.
I love that. Maybe like give out 100 cards to everybody and be like, all right, whoever, or if as a team we can give away 100 cards, then we get a pizza
Taco Tuesday.
or
Right.
prizes.
Exactly.
I love
Very
that
cool.
idea.
did you know that you were going to have so much control over your own new patient flow, that you would be generating this and harnessing your team along with it?
No, I didn't really know what to expect, to be honest, since this is my first time doing marketing. So I wasn't, sure how well it was going to work. But then I feel like it's kind of like a snowball. Like, as we keep doing it and we keep getting more and more patients coming in and more referrals from other patients. So,
How do you track your marketing? I know one of the big questions, even at PDA, I mean, even marketing PDA itself, tracking is really important.
Yeah.
How do you make sure that I mean, it's obvious to see in the books, your new patients are coming in, so you can see it that way. How do you track your marketing to know that it's working next to the referrals, which really is working?
yes. So just whenever, a new patient calls over the phone, one thing that we always ask is, how did you hear about our office? So, if they hear about us online or Google or through a friend or our website or Facebook, there's a section within their chart that they can put how that patient found our office.
Good.
And then every month I'll just pull the report to, take a look and see how the patients found us.
Do you share that with your team?
She will now.
We do share. We share our number of new patients. Like, we got this many new patients. It's always a celebration at our team meeting. But yeah, I would love to share with my team how they found us, whether it be through referrals or through our reviews or through just online Google.
At your next meeting, you could do something where it's just like, hey, do you guys want to know something? I'm going to ask a question. Over the last couple of months, where do you think our biggest referral source has been from? And, like kind of a little pop quiz. It's not that they have to write it down or something, but, just impromptu. And then just say, actually, 2/3 of them have come from internal. Did you guys know that? Like the stuff that we're doing is making a huge difference on that number that used to be 30 new patients a month and is now, 50, 60, 70 new patients a month. And those are along the lines of your numbers, right? Over the last few months, you've seen that difference. And so then, to say, so for example, 50 of our patients from this last month are from internal referrals, the very thing that you guys are doing. So you made that happen.
I think that would make them feel, really good, like make them feel that their efforts have been worthwhile and keep
because they don't want to think that their internal referral program has led to 2 referrals. I mean, fine, so be it if that's the case, but like, that's also good to know if your marketing is really focused on the internet stuff, then all right, well, that's where it's coming from. Do we want to see if we can't put a little charm on it and make it happen more? Or is it just that, the internet stuff is just killing it and it just is? That's stuff that you can share with them. So that way they can have a little bit of fun having ownership to that too.
Yeah. We have a team meeting this week, so I will definitely get that information for them to share.
So how did that affect your production? Like the marketing over the last few months?
It has gone up. So every year, or every, month with PDA, we'll just kind of set our goals for a couple months of, what our hourly production is. And so we've definitely been able to increase that hourly production, far beyond what it used to be before we started the marketing.
Right.
We've even had to add like some of the associates an extra couple of days to help take on some of the load as well.
Well, that's a problem that most people don't have. Do you feel like that has helped compensate for the COVID, difficulties of this last year?
Definitely, yes. Because I've heard, just from some other people in, the dental industry, and they're, saying like, oh, I had a 3-hour lunch break today because my schedule couldn't be full. And I'm like, well, that's not us. I had 30
I was gonna
minutes
say.
today.
Okay, be honest with me and the listeners here. Does that every once in a while just kind of make you jealous though?
Yes. I'm like, man, I wish I could just
It goes to show you
take
the
a walk
grass is
before.
always greener on the other side,
I
but
know.
it's a good problem to have, to be busy. But sometimes, like there are a couple times, where I've had a long lunch break, and I'll call my mom and be like, hey, you want to do lunch? And she's like, really? And I'm like, yeah, mom, come on. So admittedly, mama's boy, she's probably listening right now. Hi, mom.
That's a good mom.
Yeah, that's right.
How sweet.
Oh boy.
So were you marketing? How were you marketing yourself through COVID? You said you didn't do marketing before. So how did you do it during COVID? And then, I mean, we're still kind of in the throes of COVID with California too. Are you still in full, like, what does your lockdown situation look like?
They recently reopened, I think maybe as of a couple weeks ago, outdoor dining, and like the salons and things like that. But nothing is, back to normal at all, not even close. But as far as during COVID, I didn't really do, too much marketing, but I knew like once we opened back up again, like the question was, are we going to have patients to fill our schedule? Are they going to be comfortable coming in? So at that point, I was like, now would probably be a great time to start marketing, because if not all of our patients are comfortable coming back yet, we got to get our schedule full. And
Absolutely.
I think it ended up being a good decision because, not all dental offices ended up opening back up. So I think there was a lot of patients out there looking for somewhere else where they could go. So then they were able to find us, and we accepted them with open arms.
So for doctors that are thinking about marketing or kind of struggling to connect and struggling with the same things, what advice would you have to them, for them?
I would say, just, do some research, find a great marketing company that you feel comfortable with, that aligns with your goals, and just go for it. Like, it's going to be, an investment up front, and it, might take some time to get going, but, you will 100, more than 100% see that return on your investment. So they always say you got to spend money to make money, right? So I think that's kind of where that marketing comes in.
That always makes me nervous, spending the money, but what's the right money, knowing which path to go down. So I applaud your bravery. I applauded it last time when we spoke. It was like 6 months ago or so. It was quite a few months ago when we talked, and thinking about the chair that you're in today, sitting there. I know it's the end of the day for you. If you could go all the way back in time when you first purchased the practice, what advice would you give yourself?
I still feel like I'm learning so much, and there's so much more to learn, but maybe just say, be confident in who you are and what you know. I think that, when I started out, I was kind of afraid to put myself out there, and I just kind of, wanted to still do the way that all the practice was run before. I didn't want to change too many things, which I think is not necessarily a bad thing, but then again, it wasn't, showcasing myself as much. So yeah, I would say.
Right. I remember I was very wide-eyed at you stepping into leadership and being so transparent and honest. And I would like to reflect to you that, vulnerability and that type of honesty is such a hallmark of a fantastic leader. And I feel like I'm just beaming for you. You inspire me, because to build your confidence like that, could you have looked back even a year ago and told yourself, I have control over my production now. I have control with my team. I collaborate with them. I know team culture has always been very important to you.
Yes.
And so you're bringing them along for that journey together. Do you take a moment? Do you take that moment and sit back and really, it's not just patting yourself on the back, but just reflecting how far you've grown and come?
Sometimes, like, it's hard to see it, like day by day, like, but, when I think back to where I started, I guess, for example, like one of my assistants, she was looking at our schedule from last January, and there were so many holes in the schedule. It wasn't always full, and now we're working 2, 3 columns, and we're booked out for 4 weeks. So yeah, looking back, I have come a long way, and our office has come a long way, and it's exciting because our team is on board and wanting to grow and asking, "What are you gonna do? We're growing, like we're running out of space." So that's the next step, trying to figure out where we're going to, how we're going to accommodate these patients and everything that we're doing here.
Well, what a spectacular year to have your coach Valerie come in too, and be doing regular Zoom calls and stuff. Have you had her come in your office yet? I mean, I know this is kind of a tough year to do that. I mean, how's that worked?
Yeah, she actually was able to come out in the beginning of January.
Oh, okay.
So, I asked her, like, "Are you comfortable coming out to our office?" And she said yes. So she was able to come out for a day and a half, and it was so great having her there. The team has really connected with her, over Zoom, and it just really reinforced that having her there in person. It was wonderful.
It creates good team harmony to have your coach come in. I love when Carrie comes in a couple times a year to be able to, to interview the staff kind of informally, while they're working or if they have a break and stuff like that. And then also get everyone together as a big huddle, for a while and talk over, okay, what we're doing well, what we could do better. What do you guys want to work on, stuff like that. So no, that's just great, that she's helping you because you just recently signed up for coaching in this last year, right? Does that sound right?
Yeah, it was October 2019, I believe.
Yeah.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Very cool. Very cool.
Well, I have one last question. We are sitting together again, Chad and Tessa and I, 1 year from now. What's next for you? And what do you see yourself and your patients and your practice? What do you see on the horizon for you?
Well, I'm hoping to be able to, like I had mentioned before, really focus in on the comprehensive care for my patients, and continue to feel more confident offering them everything dentistry has to offer, and not being nervous, like, oh my god, if I tell them all this stuff, are they gonna run away scared because this is a huge treatment plan. So this year my focus was to really focus in on doing more CEs and really immersing myself in education. So
good for you.
Yeah.
Tell us again how many years you are out of school.
I graduated in 2016, so
Yep.
it's going to be 5 years.
5 years coming up.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yep. You're just hitting your stride. I mean, right at the 5-year mark, that's just hitting the stride. But the cool thing is you're well poised to hit a good stride, as opposed to what I'm supposed to be striding. So good for you.
I was going to say, don't you? I mean, I hear, the type of command that I see being held by Tessa right now is what I usually see in doctors that are around the 10-year mark. Yeah. You said 20 year or 20? Okay, 10 years for PD doctors.
Listen, I mean, it's not all time dependent, right? I mean, some people are wandering in the wilderness and the desert land for 40 years, and some people are wandering for 10 years. So it's not just, and I forget who says that, practicing the same way your first year 10 years in a row or 20 years in a row, that might be Howard Ferran. You doing that 20 years in a row doesn't make you 20 years better. It makes you 1 year better at doing it wrong 20 times. That's no good. So yeah. Well, Tessa, thanks for joining us. I appreciate you joining us to talk through, your journey here. And it's just really been recently. I'm kind of excited to see if you signed up for the foundations course, which, I mean, my plug, and again, I don't, I don't get any kickback or anything from that, but it's great to be able to talk through your 2-year plan. So that way you can work backwards and say, okay, now I've got kind of my marketing in place. Now I've got coaching in place that the team has buy-in to wanting to hear from Valerie. Because I'm sure this happens in my practice the same as yours, where at first people are like, what is she going to say? Like, is she going to be mean? Is she going to tell us what to do? And stuff like that. And then, the coach comes in and it's like, oh, this is great. Like, I love having her here. Like, she's so supportive and she's helping me solve my problems too. And, how to be less blank and more blank. And, sometimes it's interpersonal problems between people where it's like, oh, if I'm just more direct with that person, they like that. Oh, well, okay. Why don't I try that? And then sure enough, that worked. And then now your leadership increased because you did a better job. And this isn't just you, it's your whole team, growing from that. So it's just really cool to see that, that you're making that progress with your coach. And now, starting to think about, okay, what is your game plan? Where a year from now or 5 years from now, where do you see yourself and where would you want to be looking back at now going, man, if I would have told myself, so I'm excited to see you grow even more with your something like a 2-year plan to where you had not just a marketing plan but kind of a life /business vision for where to go. Yeah.
100%. Thank you. Thank you so much for having me again.
Absolutely. Well, and Dr. Tessa's a coach, since you're a coaching client with us, the foundations is included in her tuition.
Well, hey, look at that.
If she didn't know, you just completed your foundations program, right, Chad?
No, for the second time.
Your plan is beautiful, by the way.
Now it is. It took me a while.
Well, thank you, Tessa, so much. I look forward to meeting with you again in a year and maybe in person. That would be awesome.
That would be awesome.
Oh,
you guys can come visit me in San Diego.
Yes, please. Yes.
Anywhere.
After 11 inches of snow, I'm ready.
Right. Well, everyone, thanks for listening to our podcast today. Thanks for listening to Tessa Miller talk about, how her life's been changing. And it's amazing how in a 6-month time span, how you can grow a lot. And so we're hoping that for you as listeners, as you continue listening. And thank you, Tessa Miller, for joining our podcast today.
Thank you.
All right. Have a good day, everybody.
Bring your lunch or take us to the gym again next week to improve your everyday practices. Also, subscribe on iTunes, follow us on social media, and sign up for our email list. Now get out there and win with everyday practices.